So, and this way of ordaining elders, remember the reason why we use this word elders, because it comes from the Greek word presbyter and the Hebrew word kohen, and for Amharic and Yiddish speakers, kahin. It means elder. Right. Presbyter, though, in the Greek, it's transliterated to into English as priest. But anyway, the point is that they are the elders of the clans being ordained by the laying of hands.
Right, exactly. And again, it's going to be very key to understand, pre-Levitical era, there was no such thing as this like institutionalized priesthood. Like people are going to like look at this and they're going to think, oh, this is a stretch. Like what does this have to do with ordination? But like you said, like priesthood originally meant just being the patriarch of your family, the elder of your family.
Yes.
And again, even in the etymology, that's where we get the word presbyter from, right? So before the Levites are instituted as the priest, the one who offered sacrifice, I mean, we see this as early as Adam and Abel and Cain. I mean, see our series on worship.
Yep.
The people that had that priestly vocation were the elders of their family. So the idea that the patriarch of the family, in this case Jacob, he's about to die, he's on his deathbed, is putting his hands on. And notice he says also in the passage that he says, let my name be named upon them in the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac. So the idea is he had this title, right? When he's talking about his name, he's not saying Ephraim and Manasseh are going to be called Jacob from now on.
Yeah.
But he's saying the word, this understanding of name means authority and title. When we say, may the name of the Lord be praised, we're not worshiping the letters YW, YAWEH. Whatever spells Yahweh, right?
Present.
We're worshiping the presence and the authority of God. So let my name be named upon them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac means this priestly vocation, this vocation of being an elder that my grandfather Abraham had, that my father Isaac had, and that I, Jacob, have, may that be passed on to you.
Yes.
And the way that's facilitated, again, is through this laying on of hands. And it's very key also to note here that Joseph gets angry that he put his right hand on the firstborn. Yeah. So maybe go into that. What's the symbolism behind that?
The symbolism is that, for those of you who aren't aware, in Genesis, there is the constant theme of the elder having his authority given to the younger instead, just as we see here, just as with Jacob and Esau. But what's interesting here is that when Joseph gets upset and tries to take it from Ephraim to Manasseh, it's not so. Jacob says, no, let it not be so, because of what God had ordained for what to be done for Manasseh and Ephraim. But what's even more interesting is the fact that even when Joseph tries to go against it, Jacob says, let it not be so. So the idea of usurpation, or the idea of the ordination being swapped around, is rejected by Jacob, rejected by God as well. So even in this archaic scene of a priesthood of sorts being established, not exactly the priesthood, but this very archaic form of eldership, it is still seen as being intrinsic to these specific elders of the clans, and it cannot be usurped, and it cannot be changed. And that's what we see Jacob essentially tell Joseph when he tries to swap the hands at the end of this passage.
Right. So again, Joseph is thinking in this worldly way where the firstborn gets the primary blessing. But again, like Caleb said, what have we seen time and time again in Genesis? It's Jacob over Esau. It's Isaac over Ishmael, right? It's always continuing in that. Even later on, we're going to see in the next chapter, I don't know if we're going to talk about it at length, but it's not the firstborn of Jacob that ends up becoming that kingly lineage. Judah is the fourthborn, not even second, fourthborn. So when Joseph positions the sons in front of Jacob, he positions it so that the firstborn between Ephraim and Manasseh is going to be on the right hand of Jacob. Manasseh is the firstborn. But what Jacob does is he crosses his hands so that the right hand is on the secondborn's head, right? And why is Joseph displeased? Because he realizes that there's a certain power manifest in that ritual act of putting your right hand on someone's head, right? So for them, they're not, postmodern, deconstructing. We don't care what the ritual entails.
Yeah.
There's a certain power in that action. Typologically, by the way, it's very important to note that this idea of crossing is interpreted by the fathers as Jacob blessing his sons, his grandsons really, with the sign of the cross. This is one of the earliest typologies of the cross. And not just that, but there is implicitly a Christological blessing that Jacob even utters when he says, "The angel that has redeemed me from all evil, may he bless these lads." I mean, we don't need to go into depth, but
the angel of the Lord being the pre-incarnate logos, the pre-incarnate Christ.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So you have here all of the makings, all of the elements of what will later on be the Christian rite of ordination. You have the elder, the Kahan, which is Jacob. You have his sons, right, who are going to be the future Kohens or presbyters. You have the sign of the cross being made over them, and you have the invocation of Christ, who is the angel of the Lord, right? Isaiah calls him the angel of great counsel.
Yes.
So this is the first instance that we have of ordination.